I fixed it. I fixed it. Hanaki, did you know that our souls are connected by fate? Well, what do you know? I'm Yuno Hanaki, the one and only Oiran from Mielun. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. She manifested. I did. I forced myself out of prison. I'm here. I was about to say your model is not a 4 p.m.er. Not anymore. She truly became a nighttime creature. No, it was an issue with the Wi-Fi. Sometimes my Wi-Fi just gets like this, where all of my mobile devices decide to stop connecting properly. And it was basically not, like, allowing me to connect via Wi-Fi with my model. I do that so I can keep my phone charged, because otherwise, if I have it plugged into my PC, the battery disappears rapidly. And then we're stuck on a time constraint of like a couple of hours, maybe 3 or 4 at most. Sometimes even less though, because currently my phone that I use for tracking is only at like 60%. So we would have had even less of a time constraint, or more of a time constraint, I should say. Less time. Because it's more constrained. Yes. Grammar. Anyway. But whatever it was, I managed to fix it for the time being. If it starts acting like a little bitch again, I'll have to deal with my router. I'll probably have to restart my router before the collab, just so I can ensure that that doesn't happen again, because otherwise I won't be able to connect if we use our models on screen. I don't know if we will, though. I don't really know what the plan is. Had a similar problem lately. Connect to Wi-Fi but no internet, even though wired devices work. It's not so much no internet as it is like it just disconnects. Like for some reason it can't stay connected to my router, and it's very strange. I don't really know why it does it, but anyway, fixed it. Faith in Buno gave us this miracle. Faith in your desire to see wife. You can be honest. You can say that it's because you wanted to see wife. Because as much as I love my little chibi Fugi, my Fugi image, the tattoo was not drawn on that, so you guys would be wifeless. Non-canon Yuno with her bare ass legs. Also, it came in while I was on the loading screen, but let go my ego, thank you for the $4.20. Haha, nice. 4 p.m. Yuno, is it already happy hour? It's happy hour now. Every hour is happy hour when I'm here, smile. That's how that works. Thank you, thank you. Speaking of, can she say hello? I've been here for a few minutes and you're already... Man. 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 Hello. Do you know if it's a 2.4G or 5G connection? I know the former has interference issues. 5G, I think. It's either 4G or 5G. I don't remember. I think it's 5G, though. Chat has one goal. Yeah, and it's wife. I know this. I know this. You know this. He, she, we know this. Today as well, yes. Those of you who are weary and tired from work, look at wife and be motivated. Because why else do you work if not so you can come home to your wife? You know this? Yeah, that's me. That's me. Okay. There's your wife time. We might see her again later, but that's your requested wife time. You're welcome. 2.4 is slower, but is more resistant to disruption. 5 is faster, but more easily interfered. Ah, that makes sense. I see. The colors on wife are really great. Love to see her. So, I realized belatedly that, my mama misunderstood my request back when I was first joining Kawaii and asking to change my eye color. I wanted the purple from the flowers to be the color that was used in my eyes, and they did do that. But then they also made the tattoo purple. Because in the original drawing of me, the tattoo was like more wilted flower looking-y. Like the flowers were still purple, but there was a lot more green also. And it was like kind of like wilted flower green into like goldish brownish dried flower vibes. But they had changed it. I guess they had interpreted purple from the tattoo to be like, oh, they want more purple. And so they made that purple too. So now the whole tattoo is purple. Fun facts. Fun little factoids. Adding to my proto-Yuno notes, indeed. Wilted flower. I mean, the flowers weren't wilted, but the like... the stem, I guess? Like, the stem and the branch were, like, greenish-brownish. But I hadn't noticed when I got the updated version with the new eye color. I was just like, oh, yay! My eyes are purple. Works for me. You've shown that before, and I think current tattoo looks better. I would say I agree. I feel like, once again, it adds a lot of, like... not a lot of, but more color variants. Instead of it just being green all the way down. R.I.P. Mommy, you know, someday maybe we will get Mommy, but also I don't think that suits me very well. I think I am meant to play creatures, or be behind creatures, I guess, or like more tomboy-ish characters. I don't know if I really suit like a mommy aesthetic. I just don't have that energy in me. I think it'd have looked nice with a bit more color variety, but then there'd have been more green. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what made them decide to change the branch to purple. But I guess it added a bit more of like a fantasy vibe too, so I really can't complain. Little sister? Little sister would be funny. But is that not just Puntable? Is that not just Puntable being a grumpy, spoiled little toddler? We almost got Kudere, you know? There was a universe, yes, where I could have been Kudere. But also, I don't know how long I would have been able to maintain that consistently as a stream persona. And I remember management being like, well, you don't have to marry yourself to one thing, you know? It might be difficult to maintain a character every stream that you do, so you'd have to choose something you could do consistently. But as someone who tends to be quite low energy, I feel like I'd be fine. I think if I locked in, I'd be able to stay Kudere, but I do admit that that would probably be harder to maintain the longer a stream went on for. I'm a good actress, but I do have my limits. You do have Kusokaki energy. Puntable definitely more creature than sister. Okay, I retract the statement. Puntable is like your spoiled, rotten chihuahua. Angry creature that just barks at everything. Kudere, you know, would get too strong rejecting chat. It's more like I would reject chat and you guys would be like, oh, yes, mommy. And I feel like that would actually cause the mommy jokes to get worse. If we're being real. Because Kudere would mean you get no dere from me. Or very little dere. It would look different from how it does currently. Puntable does have Chihuahua energy. Yeah, she does. At the very least, she has, like, small little freak dog energy. Like, think of small breeds that are, like, kind of... they seem feral even when they're not. That's Puntable. If you did the Kudere and showed any cracks in the personality, chat would make it their mission to make you crack again. Very true. But is that not also just the usual Kudere vibe anyway? You always want to get the Kudere to soften up on you. It would just take a lot of work. Freak dog energy, yeah, that's, you know. Hey, we're talking about Puntable, not me. I do not have freak dog energy. Smash. Is that you saying that you would smash me? Would an Ice Woman be Kudere? She could be. Ice Woman's more just, like, evil. When I think about, like, the personality I gave her for the stream, which was meant to be a one-off. She's just kind of meant to be, like, sadistic and like cold, but not cool. Like Kudere is more like emotionless, but she was just kind of meant to be like cold and cruel and merciless type of energy. Also like more possessive, I guess. Something like that. Just freak energy. What the fuck? Why did you write it the same way with the same emote? I hate this place. Only clicked on it to say that. Based. I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the honesty. That's cool. Man. The ancient future where I consider getting a variant of Yuno that is Ice Woman. Yuki Onna coding. Distant future at this point. Economy needs to get stable before I even think about getting another outfit after these two. I'm freaking donezo after this. You guys are gonna have to get used to the 2 new outfits I get, because that's all you're gonna see. But I do want it. Now I still want to subscribe? That's crazy. Okay, have a good day. We can go polar opposite with Gyaru, you know? Oh god, you want Gyaruno to come back? I don't know about this. I don't know what color Gyaru would be. I guess like... probably something like warm colored, I guess. So like a red. Or an orange. Maybe. Yellow for blonde. Maybe pink and purple. No, I think pink would probably be for something else. I didn't get to experience Gyaruno. I'm very on board with this. Well, I'm referencing the fact that when I auditioned as Purple Girl, I made her Gyaru. Because in the Kawaii auditions, I'm sure most of you never looked at the forums because you are not girls wishing to be VTubers. But if you look at the forums, there is like a character that they give, which is Purple Girl. You've seen her at least, but we have to audition as her for one of the video submissions, and I made her Gyaru. I found out later that Kaya also made her Gyaru. Great minds think alike. We are too similar. We are too similar. Who knew that Yuno had Gyaru in her? I mean, it's not that hard to be Gyaru. It's just like, you just have to be trendy, and then you have to kind of talk, at least if you're doing it the English speaker way, you kind of just have to talk like with like that Valley Girl accent. You don't go full Valley Girl because she still has to be like on top of trends and like just super fashionable, but you lean on some of the tropes of Valley Girl. Some of that energy comes through. Can we get a sample? Oh gosh, what did I even say when I was doing that stream? Yeah, so like acrylic nails, I just don't really think that they suit me. Plus they get too long. I've been talking to my nail artist about it, and you know, we were talking over Starbucks, but they kept trying to convince me to go for acrylic nails because they think that they'd be able to do so much more nail art. And I get it and everything, but I feel like at the end it should be about my vibes, you know, less about her suggestions right now, because the thing about acrylics too is that she's just gonna ask for more money. And I'm not that kind of girl yet, you know? Like, if I got compliments on the nails, then maybe. But the last time I got my nails done, I got some compliments, but definitely not enough to justify acrylics. Something like that, I think. Something like that. I don't remember entirely what I said, but... Yuno's power is great and terrifying. The fact that I can just take something and go. Introduce like 27 more times and we're there. Well, see, the problem is that I have trained myself to say less likes. Therefore, it's kind of hard to reintroduce them back into my speech. So, I get what you're saying, but I'd have to script in the likes if I was gonna do all that. Fiscally responsible Gyaru. POV, Gyaru does your taxes because she's fiscally responsible. California girl, Valley girl, yes. Well, that's kind of how you would interpret Gyaru as like an English speaker. Because the point is that they're just like really trendy. Also, a lot of Gyaru do try to get into more like Western styles of fashion and aesthetic. So it just makes sense to draw from like California girls specifically. Fiscally responsible Gyaru is super rare. Well, that was just the example I came up with, like, in the moment. I don't know if that's, like, the full part of her character. I just was trying to think of something to ramble about. If it works, though. Too good at that. I'm good at acting. That's all it is. The fact this is coming up while I have another art for you cooking seems predestined. Ooh, thank you very much for commissioning another artwork. Always makes me happy to see commissioned artwork of the me. Because I like looking at art of myself. I keep everything in a folder and I'm always just like, yes sir. Art of me. Even if I don't specifically use it that much, I will like save all of it. So just so you guys are aware, I do see it and I do keep it in a little folder for me. My little happy spot. Someday, I'd like to get even more art. And, you know, I've said this before, but I'd also like to reach a point where I could start commissioning art too, finally. Things are a bit too tight right now, and probably will be for the next couple of months while we work towards the models, but maybe after I get everything squared away with those, and I can start balancing my money again, I will slowly start to commission new things, especially once the designs are finished, because the ref sheets that I have are still, like, draft versions. Once I get the finalized versions of the reference sheets, I can actually, like, start commissioning art with them, and that makes me hype. But I'm probably going to wait until the actual, like, payments for everything are done so that I can recoup some costs. It's so expensive. Redebuting is so expensive, especially with all the stuff I want to get. Ugh. Explodes. Keep that shelved until the inevitable windfall happens, manifesting the Bunoval. Yippee. I hope so. Rue expensive. Rue. You're so right. It's just like, being VTuber is money. It doesn't matter what kind of VTuber you are. Being VTuber, money. I guess many could also argue being streamer, money. But I think being VTuber, very big, many money. Many big, much dollar, you know? But it's not a bad thing. And it's also just like, for me, it's necessary. For me, I need to do this for myself. And it is something I really want, so I'm justifying it in my head of like, okay, I will make good use of this once I get it, so it makes sense. Well, that's why I'm kind of putting off the debut. I was going to try and do it for anniversary, but there's a lot that I'm still having to like budget out. I don't know if I could do it yet. But I will work on it. There's a lot that I will be getting a hold of once things balance more. Because when I go to re-debut, it's gonna be a re-debut of like everything. Everything's gonna look different and you're gonna get so hyped. On an unrelated note, it's election day in Canada, so I went ahead and did my civic duty. Well, congrats! Good job on voting. I hope everything goes well for the Canadians. I am cheering for, however that goes. Don't rush it, it'll be great whenever it happens. Yeah, I agree. I also think it'll be great whenever it happens. I will work very, very hard. Don't boop me! How many times do I have to teach you this lesson? If you boop, I will explode and we'll have to end the stream. VTuber is far more a visual medium in all aspects. Streamers just need accent stuff and decorations mostly. I still think you could argue that like a lot of the other equipment could be expensive. Also, on an unrelated note, I realized that MonsterCon is like Kirby Air Ride City Trial. That is not comparable. But I kind of get what you mean, and that you're supposed to go around and raise your stats. But I think that's the only way that it's similar. Let him cook? No! I don't think that that's cooking with the right ingredients. You're creating a dish. I just don't think that's a correct dish. King T stole Zoe from me. No, see, Zoe would probably be more into Kirby himself because Kirby eats a lot of food, much like Garfield. Raise stats and hope that your stats can clear the final event. Yeah, that's the only part that's similar, though. And I think the fact that it also focuses on, like, conversations and, like, socializing makes it different. You don't really socialize when you're doing City Trial, obviously, because it's mostly just you running around, picking a bike, praying. I will go crazy for Kirby Air Ride, though. Whenever that release date gets confirmed, it's on site. Kind of surprised how few people in the chat knew about Monster Prom. I've been playing them since the first game and figured they would be more popular among VN fans. I think because it's more of like a social game. People don't realize you can play the game by yourself. So, like, a lot of times you're just like, oh, it's like a turn-based, like, board game thing. I guess I should only play this with friends. But, like, it's possible to just play it by yourself. I actually grind it out that way. I will purposefully set up 4-player games myself with, like, 4 random characters. And then I'll just take turns for all of them so that I can get multiple endings. Best way to grind them out, you know? If Kirby were to eat you, a part of you would he have? Probably the horns and the headdress, specifically. Maybe also my hair, like a wig, because usually when he absorbs human characters, he gets a wig. The answer is obvious. Kirby would not get thighs. Kirby doesn't even have legs. He just has feet. He grows legs. No! That's terrifying. That's like Patrick with the weird humanoid legs. No. If anything, the flower tattoo would probably just be on Kirby's back or something.
Offering. Thank you so much.
Professor Jamal, thank you for the $5 tip. You already work hard. Thank you for pushing through everything and still giving us enjoyable content in Buno time. You're a lot stronger than you think, and I'm happy to be here to support my gremlin word, Oshi. Love you to beans. Don't love me to beans. But thank you. I do appreciate it, genuinely. I work hard. Yes. I'm doing the best that I can with what I got. But if I can make you guys happy, that's all that matters to me. What power would he now possess? We've decided that I would use battle fans, mostly kind of like throwing chakrams, so I guess he'd be able to throw those kind of like the boomerang ability. It would be like a boomerang ability, but more, old-timey Japanese aesthetic. I think. Sorry for the hiccup.
lights guide you back to me.
Gals, thank you for being a member for 17 months of Shadowfire. Not the emote tier, but I love you all the same. I love you. Thank you for being a member. Hopefully, this week should be the week. I still can't change my associated AdSense account on the YouTube yet, but as soon as it lets me, it's on site. As soon as that button stops being grayed out, I will hopefully be able to fix memberships. And then also be able to re-enable super chats and super thanks. I need it so bad. What happened if Kirby absorbs Puntable? Uses crayons. Scribbles over the enemy. Can't really attack them, but the scribbling, like, blocks their vision, so they are blind for a few seconds. Did you happen to see those fans I posted? Did you put them in the general tag? I haven't checked the general tag, in a couple of days. Let me check. Let me look. I might have to do some, like, work with these tags to make it a bit easier for me to remember what to check. In the old days, I had one, and I was like, this is much easier. But, you know, management was like, you need to have several, and I was like, okay. Okay. He becomes puntable, obviously. Not even Kirby anymore, just stays puntable.
Thank you so much.
Look at my Ego, thank you for the $3.33 tip. Battle chakrams, why not books? You're good at throwing those. Well, that would mean it would have to be like Librarian Kirby. So Kirby would just have like glasses and a book, but I don't want to throw books. I like them too much. Kirby usually gets the hair of whoever he absorbs, so he'd get horns and greenish hair. Yeah, that's what I said. He'd get a wig. Uh-oh. My model's lagging again. Frick. I have to do math also, but let me look at these fans. Ooh! Pretty! You're right, I do like them. Gorgeous. The pink one is my favorite, but that's because it's cherry blossom themed. The other ones are nice too, though. I like the night scene on the center one. The night colors. Big fan, like your favorite Naruto character? No. No. There is documentation that people used to write on fans to pass messages at different points in time, so the fan and book thing has precedent. Oh, of course. But, like, I'm just saying that I think fans are more my go-to weapon. I wouldn't use books as a throwing weapon. The only way I would use books would be if I went in on being a spellcaster. Because then I'd be a mage. We've already decided I'm more like a battle dancer class. Still a long-range fighter with spells, but I use fans as the weapon instead. But it does also make sense to assign me Scholar, I guess. Throws Geta as a last-ditch effort. You reduce me down to like 25% or less HP, and then you see the model just like take her Geta off. She loses several inches of height, but then she's holding the Geta and she can use them for like 2 really strong hits. If we're ever able to send physical gifts again, the Sakura fan is yours. I appreciate the thought, but that's probably never going to happen for me. I do not really have the means to travel very much, so even if I did set up a P.O. box somewhere, I would not be able to check it, like, basically ever. And forwarding services are also kind of scary, so I'm just kind of like, probably not. The only way would be if somehow I get adopted by an agency, but I'm not really looking into that kind of stuff right now. The smaller she gets, the stronger she gets. Just in a desperate attempt to get away. I didn't know that Geta held so much weight, or in Yuno's case, height. They do. I mean, they're part of why they're hard to walk in is because it's basically like balancing on like a small stack of material and then also having to walk with it. I don't think they're super heavy, but because they are so tall, they are like a wedge, you know? I feel like it would still hurt, especially if thrown with great force. Supernatural force, perhaps by an Oni. Someone should just stop to take care of you. Give this Oni a new home, please. Sitting in a wet box outside. I behold bliss. Without the Geta, Yuno is barely 4 feet. No, no, no. I have to remember the conversion. Hold on. It's more like just under 5 feet. Without the Geta, Yuno would be 4'9". Small. Very tiny. But not barely 4 feet. Just, it's barely 5 feet. Small. Have I ever told you guys the story about how, when we were first talking to Ephemera after they joined the company Slack back in the days of Kawaii, we had like a chat with them and they were bringing up their heights because they wanted to figure out how they fit in the height chart, especially because they knew that I was small. And I mentioned, you know, my height is 155, and then Kaya was just like 145, 145, 145, as she always does. And then, I wonder if you can guess who said this, but somebody in Ephemera was like, doesn't that make you legally a midget? And I was just like, hello? That's a little bit of senpai disrespect. You come into our Slack and you say this to me. The disrespect! Right in the jugular. It be like that sometimes. Sounds about normal. It is honestly very true. Even when all of us were talking in like the big group chats, I would still somehow end up being the butt of the jokes all the time. Everyone would just agree on bullying me. Even if I didn't deserve it. So rude. Not wrong though, what the hell? Even if it's not wrong, it doesn't mean you should say it out loud. Don't do this to me. Alright, let me do math. So let's see. 333 would be 753 plus the 5. Okay. Math. Could literally look down at my dono bar, but I don't do that. Girl math instead. Bullyable across gens. We did assume this would happen a while back. We had a similar discussion about you being bullied by the Kohai. Yeah. Yeah. Reminds me of when she told Ori her height and Ori replied, what's the cutoff for missions? Yeah. Yeah. A tad sad that Ephemera will never have Kohai besides Mimi. It is what it is. I mean, I suppose there's always a chance if they are looking into getting adopted as their current selves, they could end up, like, joining a company and getting Kohai at one point or another. I don't really know of many agencies that are currently looking for adoptions, though. I feel like adoption agencies are becoming slightly more popular, but none that are, like, open to it at the moment. I think we're in, like, a big waiting period right now. More orgs are taking established personas. Indeed. Phase Invaders is still a thing. Yeah, they're announcing their new Invaders gen this weekend, aren't they? Friday or Saturday? I saw the teaser for it got posted. There's going to be 3 of them, from what I saw. Don't know who. But yeah, it looks like this weekend they're announcing the new gen of invaders. So congrats to the invaders. I have no idea who they are. I don't pay attention to that stuff. I just saw the announcement get quote retweeted by the FaZe talents that I follow, and I was like, oh, nice. You know the FaZe invader? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm very wary. I spent a lot of time in the before times auditioning to a lot of different agencies, a lot of times. And I thought kawaii was going to be it for me. And so the fact that kawaii was not has now made me a little bit hesitant with agencies. I don't really know if I would make any moves like that anytime soon. I feel like the deal would have to be extremely lucrative. Like, I was so wary as it was. And, like, I had gotten close with one other agency besides kawaii, but not close enough. So, I don't even know if I'd be considered good enough for other agencies also. But that's a me thing, so we'll have to see. But then again, having had agency experience for about a year, I suppose that would still make me slightly viable were I to start auditioning places, but again, I don't know if that's in my cards at the moment. I'm also very protective of my IP after having it be given to me. I've told you guys this before, but because of everything that had been going on in October, not just the announcement of the dissolution, but also the everything, I almost didn't come back because I was very overwhelmed by just everything that was going wrong that month. And in my heart, I was like, I was concerned because I knew that part of what I needed to do in order to maintain the IP was going to have to involve, like, getting back into streaming, and I just didn't know if I could. I was, like, so stressed. I even remember I told my manager, like, when I first brought up that the thing happened, I was like, are they going to let me take a break with everything going on? And my manager had to be like, Yuno, you just went through something very traumatic. I think they're going to let you take a break. But I was like, but what if they don't? What if I explode? Obviously, they were very kind and understanding. But I had been so anxious. And then when I was on my break, in my head, I was like, I wonder if I should even try. But that was also just the depression talking. Indie seems like it's got a ton of perks and you have your own IP, but I don't know how much companies help behind the scenes, so, you know. It depends on the agency. Other girls are like able to be more educated on that kind of topic than me. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty educated. I love talking about behind the scenes stuff, but kawaii was very much an exception, I guess is the best thing I can say without getting too into it. Kawaii was doing a lot of, like, more direct support, for lack of a better term. And I feel like a lot of other agencies don't offer that as much. Not to say that they don't, but they don't offer it to the same extent that kawaii did. And so that's something to keep in mind when I look at other agencies, I guess. Crazy that you felt you needed to ask, because I was scared. With everything that had been going on, my brain was just in, like, a really bad place, so I was like, And I have a lot of imposter syndrome too, so I was like, if I stop streaming, they'll really hate me. I jumped from point A to point, like, Q with that logic leap, but it is how it is. But in the end, I did decide I wanted to come back, and because I did, getting back to my original point with this, because I did. I'm very protective of my Yuno Hanaki IP now, and if I were to go to an agency and they were to ask to adopt me, I would have to make sure I would be able to still keep Yuno if I ended up not liking it, or something like that, you know? Like, that's a kind of a deal breaker for me in terms of adoption. So, if I were to start auditioning and if discussions were to be happening, I don't really know what I'd end up choosing. Like, if it would be just starting over or if it would be handing over Yuno, but I'm very protective of her, so I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know, dude. Get a prenup. Pre-negotiation of please let me keep her. I keep her in the divorce. What if part of the deal for keeping Yuno they asked you to agree to a redesign? Would that break it for you? Well, I will admit initially when I had been considering my options, like, both during my break and when I was, like, kind of going through the motions until Kawaii's dissolution. Because I was, like, wondering what certain deal breakers would be for me should I pursue agency life again. Honestly, back then, since I had already been thinking about redesigning Yuno, I was kind of just like, honestly, if they offered a redesign, I would kind of take it because that would mean they'd have to cover the costs and not me. So that was me. However, right now, I think if they brought up redesigning to me, I'd be like, I'm already in the middle of a redesign. If you are willing to cover that, here's what it looks like. Here's what I'm already working on. If you're willing to cover this for me as part of the deal, then I would. But if they were like, no, we want to control what the redesign looks like, I'd be like, well, I'm already in the middle of this commission though, so you're gonna have to deal with those charges. You're gonna have to talk to the artist I've been working with then, not me. I'm not making my own fucking agency. You think I want to go into management? I have more fun being a talent. I feel like if I was ready to retire, then maybe I would go into being a manager or like a support staff of some kind, but I'm not making a fucking agency. That's a lot of work. And also, you have to have way more money in the bank than I do. OL Buno. Who knows? I occasionally forward think, but I'm not currently forward thinking. Manager Buno would enjoy cracking the whip on talents, though. Enjoy is a strong word. I would hope to work with talents that I wouldn't need to crack the whip on. Like, I don't know. I think I could handle being a manager. I feel like I'm generally a pretty agreeable person, and I would do my best to make things happen for talents, but I would not want to have to work with talents where I have to crack a whip on them often. I've seen the kind of pains that happen with just organizing projects VTuber to VTuber. I can only imagine the struggle of being, like, manager to VTuber. But also, I was always an overachiever who would get my stuff done almost the minute it was assigned, so I'm kind of, like, spoiled by my own approach to making content as a talent. Sake, bento, and fries? Honestly, sounds kind of banging. Sounds kind of banger. I always want fries, though. There's always a corner of my brain that's like, what if French fry? What if Frenched fry? Manager's favorite. There's no such thing as favoritism. Not necessarily in a bad way, but you said you like being the dominant one, so wrangling people and convincing them to follow a plan sounds like your element. I could. I don't really like having to be super aggressive about it, though. I want to just have to tell someone once and then they listen. If I have to then come back around and be like, hey, why aren't you fucking doing your work? I don't really like that as much. You're saying a francophone fried this? You're saying a French did this fry? Time to get out of work. Okay. A fry that was born in France. Yes. You take the fry out of the McDonald's container and it just goes, bonjour. Puno with a whip. Why are you sweating? It's a very natural pair, actually. I prefer my fries non-French, thank you. Well, have you ever considered that that's not an option? Because at that point, it's no longer a fry. You'd have to call it something else. Everyone needs a whip crack to some degree because life do be lifing and memory evaporates. That is fair. There are, like, I'm usually pretty on top of stuff, but there were plenty of times where my manager would have to be like, hey, you know, do you remember this thing? And I'd be like, oh shit, no, I don't. But then we'd be able to very quickly rectify it. So you're right that sometimes memory is necessary. I guess I would be able to keep track of that okay for other talents. Potato stick. Potato wedge. Shoestring. So many potato options. Man, I need to not think about it or else I will genuinely want fries. And I need to be good. I don't want fries. I need to be good. I can't spend money. I gotta be big and strong and big and strong and brave. You don't know? I don't see them. I don't know what those are. It's just a guy with a red face and a cool hat. I've never seen those before. Home fries are technically non-French fries because they're fried potato chunks. You're telling me you fried this in your home? Wow, look at those three cool dudes with spiky blonde hair. It's Naruto. Definitely not a French fry. No, sir. Never seen that before in my life. I don't even know what a French fry is. No, sir. No, stop! I don't know what those are either. I do not perceive. Nothing. There is nothing on my screen. Anyways. This is quite the tangent. I don't even remember what my original point was. I personally do not, but it is a very common southern item, so I'm coping with my anti-French desires. No, I love home fries. That's never the question. The thing is, I'm just pulling your leg. I'm just pulling your leg. Don't worry about me. I just go here. Man, I love tubers. I love VTubers too. The urge to boop is incredibly strong. Don't do it. We will have to end stream. You don't want that. Although I will probably have to end in like an hour. Because I have to have time to make and eat my dinner and do things before getting ready for collab. Over a single boop? That's part of the in-joke, remember? The in-joke is that if you choose to boop me, I explode. And so if I explode, then it's the
An
stream.
offering. Thank you so much.
Egan, thank you for the $10 tip. Fry Fud. Fry Fud! Thank you. Thank you, thank you. We love a fry fund. I made it boop you in an hour. Yeah, that'll automatically end the stream. I'll just explode. We were talking about potential agency seeking and what would be deal breakers. I'm honestly pretty agreeable. I'm willing to like negotiate stuff. There are certain things that I had in Kawaii that I don't know if I'd ever really be able to get at another agency. So I'm kind of just like, So I keep my mind open, I guess, but I don't know. I have yet to really see an agency like appeal to me. So I'm not really thinking about auditioning anywhere right now. I'm good. The only reason I would is if I knew that there would be a increase in revenue. Actually, speaking of this, Pam put out an interesting video the other day about changes that she'd like to see be made in like agency VTubing. Aisha, hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. For those of you who might not know me, I am Yuno Hanaki. I am the one and only Oiran from indie V-singer group Mialoon. I'm just a girl. I do a lot of variety streaming. I zatsu. I play games sometimes. I'm not good at it. I write a lot. I care a lot about lore. I write lyrics and things. Yeah, that's kind of the bulk of what I do. So I hope you enjoy your stay. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a good stream. Thank you, thank you. The raiders might take a second because they have to wait until the minute expires, but nerd, why are you calling me a nerd? I didn't do anything. That's so messed up. Ah, yes, this thing. So this was the video that Pam put out like a week ago, and I watched it and I was like, these are honestly some good points. But she talked a lot about like agency things and changes she would like to see in agency VTubing. Kind of pertinent to the conversation if you'd like, so I would recommend checking it out if you wanted to hear the perspective from someone who is corporate but not in an agency. Hello! Yeah, I hope you had a great stream. Let me give you the cute girl wrench. You need cute girl wrench. Miss Ma'am. Here, for you. Wrench. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope your stream was good. Get some good rest. But yeah, highly recommend this video. One of the things that she brings up is the idea of like, if you want a talent to yippee, I'm blue now, yippee! But she brings up like, if you want a talent to like prioritize working for your agency, then you should offer like a base salary, like a base income on top of like the pay split that you get from like their earnings through their content and stuff. It's always, because there's always like this expectation with agencies to like stream a certain number of times a week, and to like put all of your eggs into the basket that is the agency. But if they do things like that, then they should be more willing to like supplement what you could have been making if you were like doing a side hustle, you know? Or then, you know, you bring up the idea that like they can have a side account that they still use, but either it's like not monetized, so it's not really like competing with the work that they're doing for the agency, or it's like in just a completely different niche. Something like that. There were like a lot of good points that were brought up that I was like, I liked that video, it's good. Recommend giving it a watch if you are interested in agency stuff. Why is wrenching such a time-honored and loved event? Because girls like to be acknowledged by other girls. I can confirm, I'm girls. The minute I get a wrench in a cute girl's chat, my heart races and I'm just like, she likes me. She saw me speak and she likes me. So like, you know, I always have that moment of, whoa, for me? Doki doki. Hanaki, welcome in, guys. Welcome in, welcome in. Speaking of games, I can't believe Furi's on the schedule. Look, I want to beat it. I was thinking about it when I was making my schedule yesterday, and I was like, look, I don't know what else I want to do in that slot. I'd have to start another game, I guess, but I don't really have anything in mind I'd want to play. And I feel like it'll be easier to justify the purchase if I play it for a couple more streams. We'll see how it goes. There's a chance that I will spend the, like, whole 3 hours that I play the game, yelling at the old man. But maybe I could also beat it. Who knows? Maybe this is the sign that I need to get good. I'm impressed you came back to it. I respect the commitment. Thanks. I am nothing if not a committed girl. When I get into something, I lock in. I just think it's fair. And with, like, everything else that I do, I've said this before, but, like... But one of the main reasons I'm even playing the game is because it was a request from you guys, and I make you sit through all of my Yuno core games. I figure the least I could do is give a try to a game that you like and, like, beat it before I have an opinion on it, instead of just trying to dismiss it too outright. The keyword is try. The keyword is definitely try, because I don't know if I will truly be good at it, but I feel like it's fair. Korea's activated Buno's sweaty gamer switch. Now she's declared war. There is something about it that is a little satisfying. The only thing I don't like is that if I were to reduce the difficulty level, the game would make fun of me. And I hate that mentality in a video game. I hate it so much. Dark Souls next? No. Is Oblivion or Skyrim Yuno core? I've been curious about Skyrim. I don't know if I'd like it though. I can't deny my curiosity. Dark Souls would be easier than Free because damn, does Free look brutal? It can be brutal, but I feel like Dark Souls would be harder. Also, Dark Souls has a aesthetic I don't like. One of the perks of Free is that at least it's nice to look at and the sound is nice to listen to. Like, I really like the music. And the voice acting has been good. I'm playing with Japanese voices. I'm a weeb. So I've been liking the voice acting there as well. So, like, the downside with games like Dark Souls is that I think it's more just an aesthetic mismatch than it is like a genre mismatch. I don't really care for games that are like super dark and gloomy all the way through. We sit through BL so Yuno plays through pain. I literally have never made you sit through any sort of BL. That is an exaggeration, mister. I've talked about my ships like once in Graces. I get delusional for Graces only, and even then, I don't force an agenda because it's very obvious the game ships Asbel and Sharia. Like, I know that they are going to be the end game, probably. That don't mean I can't be a little delulu. I think you resonate more with the earlier Elder Scrolls games. There's a bigger emphasis on storytelling and world building. Okay. Noted, noted, noted. I mean, the story is pretty boring in Skyrim. Oblivion Remaster and Original is more text-heavy. Oh, right. Lots of people got really excited about Oblivion getting a remaster recently. I didn't know anything about it, so I was just like, congrats. Glad you're having a good time. I literally know nothing. The Oblivion remake might be really up your alley. Is it expensive? Is it expensive? Do I have to spend a lot of money? I'm checking right now. $50, man. $50. In this fucking economy. Nah, man. Half of Nintendo is $50. Well, the remaster is. I think if I looked at the OG, it would be cheaper, probably. Spent all weekend on Oblivion, they even left the glitches in. That's iconic. Game Pass is probably best if you want to play it. I don't have Game Pass. It's 50, but you get a huge game that includes very large DLC content, so it's more than worth the value. How large are we talking? How big is the game? Because I don't know if I have enough space. It left in the infamous mistake voice line as well. Well, I guess in that case, it's definitely just meant to be like nostalgia fuel. People probably would have been more mad if it was taken out. Which is understandable. 120 gig.
What? Ew! I don't know if I have the space for that. That's a big game.
I don't know about that. That will have to be something I contemplate, perhaps. I mean, there are some games that I've been meaning to uninstall that would probably free up more room. Like games that I've beaten that I'm probably not going to pick up again. So the problem could probably resolve itself, but also, that's a lot. Goodbye VTubers Studio, goodbye OBS. I miss plug and play disc games. I feel you. I mean, my PC doesn't have a CD drive, so even if I could plug in a disc, I don't have a means of putting in a disc. It's fine. One of the perks of Steam, at least, is that even if you uninstall a game, it doesn't, like, leave your library ever. You could just reinstall it when you want to play the game again. So that's kind of what I am banking on when it comes to... when it comes to working with space. I have been meaning to add, like, storage stuff to Throne, though, because whenever I am able to finally get a PC upgrade as well, I want to be able to, like, very easily move all of my files over. I'm very bad at transferring files. Like, when I transferred from my laptop to my PC, I honestly didn't transfer that much. I transferred, like, my images and, like, my music and maybe some videos, but then, like, other than that, like, all of my programs and stuff I didn't transfer over, and that was kind of a pain in the ass for me. Because then I started committing more to streaming, and I was like, ah, fuck. Physical discs are just access keys and still have to download the game. Straight BS. I feel you. It is kind of annoying. But no, I was planning to get, like, extra storage stuff, so I was going to get, like, do you have a big external drive? No. I was going to put an external drive on, Throne, because I've seen how big my drives are, so I would know the size that I would need to, like, get everything on an external drive for when I do upgrade PCs. But I might just need the external storage just for the sake of frickin' playing a video game at this point. Jesus. 120 gigabytes of RAM to play Bust of Phillips 2, and I would do it in a heartbeat, and I would do it again. And I would do it again. Luckily, because it's a VN, I don't have to worry about that stuff, though. Skyrim is 15 gigabytes. I see, I see. But yeah, I'll admit, I'm kind of intrigued by the idea of playing, like, a Western RPG or, like, a Western, story-based game. I love my JRPGs, but slowly branching out was probably smart for me. finding more things that I can tolerate playing. Western, so Red Dead. No. No way, I already played that. I just mean non-Japanese RPGs, regular RPGs, whatever, English RPGs. Recommend getting a 500 gigabyte to 1 terabyte M2 drive, current standard for storage, but it's installed on the motherboard, so you need CPU as slots. I can't open my PC case, so even if it does, not much I can do about that. Disco Elysium counts as one. That one is a lot of reading, though. Definitely not good for streaming. Good for playing, not good for streaming. Truly reading simulator. I've never played it, but I watched somebody play it. Like, they made a edited down version of their stream, and I was just like, this seems like a nightmare to stream. There's just so much text. You have a HP pre-built? No, I have a pre-built PC though. It's just not HP pre-built. I never figured out how to take the glass case off. There's no spot to like unscrew it. So I don't want to like try to pull the glass case like up and off without risk of breaking it. I'm scared I would break it and then never be able to put it back together. And then I'd cry. I'm a baby, please understand. Mucho texto even for me. Look, it's mucho texto in that I'd be willing to play it off stream, but I feel like if I played it on stream, we would be doing so much reading and you guys would be so bored. Oh, Hanaki, welcome in. How's the day going? How has wife been? Wife's good. The people saw her earlier. My day's been going okay. I felt a little nauseous this morning, but that's because of what I had for dinner last night. It did not settle in my stomach well, I guess. So I had to take an extra nap, even though I had so much work to do. But it's fine. It's just work I gotta do tonight. Yippee! If it's glass, it might just have a door or hatch. I haven't figured out where it is, and I don't want to pull it off wrong. No, it's not breaking the glass that's the problem. It's breaking, like, the door mechanism, assuming there is one. And then not being able to put the glass back on the thing. I don't know, man. I'm baby. I'm very baby. I don't have good luck with tech. I think I've told you guys this, but with my laptops, I had a bad time with a lot of my laptops, because it's not that I wasn't taking care of them, but they just all had a tendency to die in like really tragic ways. So when I upgraded to PC, I was like, I don't trust myself with any of this. This needs to be a pre-built. This needs to be as dummy-proofed as possible, and I can't mess with it at all. So now that I'm at this point where it's time to upgrade, I'm just like, oh, I can't mess with this at all. Ooh. You know, it's Final Destiny for PCs. If I touch it, it explodes. You post what kind of model you have. I'm sure someone can find out how to open for you. I can just look it up myself. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just a scaredy cat. And like the way everything's positioned just makes it a bit risky. I'm a big enough girl that I know how to look up like my PC's case. Like that's not necessarily the hard part. I just don't want to break it. Because if I break it, it's over. This is how I make all of my money. If I break this, I'm dead. Because I don't have the money to buy a new one right now. So if I break this, it's Jover. So any sort of risk that I have to take with like opening it or like changing something on it, I'm just like, fuck, I can't. I'm scared. Just call tech support aka a former senpai. No, I don't want to be a bother. Emergency donathon on Twitter. But I wouldn't even be able to stream. I'd have to do it through my phone. That would be even worse. Like, I couldn't keep track of donations. Man. No, it's okay. I really should just, like, look up how to open it so that I can finally do stuff. It'd be nice to give it a proper clean, too. I can take out the, like, dust trap on the front of the case, because that one is, like, attached by magnets. I just have to reach into the little opening and pull it out. But I can't get into the, like, the side part where the motherboard and everything else is. How dirty are the dust traps? Not that bad. Like I said, there's one dust trap I can take out of the front because there's, like, a hole on that part. So I can, like, reach in and pull it up and out. The dust traps are fine. Actual inside of the PC is also okay. I have checked. It's not terribly dusty. Trust. I've heard horror stories before. You've seen horror stories before. I remember looking at Isla-sama's dust traps. Ugh. But no, the actual dust traps are clean. There is, like, dust on the inside glass of the, like, that front part. But since I don't know if I can take that part off, I don't know if I can clean it. I'd probably just have to get, like, compressed air and do a little to get it all out. I've been horror stories before. It's me, I'm the horrors. But no, I don't like dust, so I stay pretty on top of my dust trapper. I actually just cleaned it 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. Because I was like, oh, it's dusty. So I cleaned it. I'm a good girl, please praise me. Does the bare minimum of taking care of my PC. Alright, praise me now. I did it. Dust traps typically can be taken off with no fuss. Some are attached to the casing, though. I think that might be the case with mine. It's very hard to explain. But there's, like, the case part, and then the dust trapping is, like, behind it. And there's, like, a little opening I reach into to take it off the magnet. We don't talk about Isla's PC, I still have nightmares. Oh, Isla-sama. She gets by on some, like, really old equipment in a dream. And I love that for her. I'll choose to believe you don't actually want to be called a good girl. You're right, I don't. That was just me being facetious. Used to love cleaning out the fan on my old PC when I had it. It's crazy how much gets in there when you have dogs. Oh, I can imagine. Pet dander is a menace. On Dirty Console User, but one of my best decisions was getting new body panels with better venting that's easy to clean, made my life easier. Makes sense, makes sense. They say Isla went on break just to clean her dust trap. She left for a whole month just so she can clean out the dust. Honestly, I wouldn't be that surprised. I would do a good chuckle. A good giggle. But no. A chortle even, indeed. Nah, Isla-sama, I hope, has gotten a little bit better with everything. After the thorough thrashing that she got for those dust traps. But yeah, I guess there'll just have to be a day where I am strong and brave and I finally take my PC off of my desk and lay it down so that I can open it up. My one fear. Just the thought is kind of scary. But I guess I gotta do it at some point. My hope, though, is that when I do get, like, a different PC, like, when I upgrade to a different pre-built again, I hope it's, like, easier to figure out how to open the dang thing. Because admittedly, I think this PC didn't, like, come with actual instructions when I got it. Which is part of why I don't know how to do it. At least it's not a laptop I would be more scared cleaning one. Yeah. That's also probably part of why my laptops would get so busted. Because they are so difficult to clean. I was scared to do anything when I first started messing with components. It took me like 3 years to really feel comfortable, but still get help from friends. The problem is all of my tech friends live away from me. So I have to like keep them on like support mode through like my phone or something, and then the whole time I'm just like, you can't leave me. You have to walk me through this step by step. Also, I will be sobbing and crying and throwing up, and gotta make sure you're here for me. You have to do this or I will die. But like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I don't think I'll ever build my own PC. I have a friend who can build PCs. He told me he is very good at it. I just can't do any of that stuff. I cannot risk. I would blow it up. Sorry, I lied. We're not partying. We're gonna clean my PC, grab the compressed air. Nah, I can never do that to my friends. What? You really are the most baby. I just don't want to break it. I feel like something would go wrong. I'm very overly cautious when it comes to, like, doing fine work like that. You hear the horror stories about how pushing it, like, with just a little too much strength can make something break, and then the whole thing just gets bricked and is completely unusable, and I'm just like, well, I will not survive. I can't really do, like, I've said this before, I'm not dexterous with my hands. Like, my biggest fear is that I would fat finger something and then it would be over. Hold the Buno's hand while she does the tech and hand her Kleenex as needed. If I had somebody physically here with me, it's more like I would make them do it and I would sit on the side and just hand them tools. If I had the option to not do it, I would not. But I'm all by myself, so I guess I have to. There's caution, and there's paranoia, and then there's Buno. Look! I don't want to break it. This is my precious baby. And I just cannot. I'm scared. There's a meme for that somewhere. There's a meme for everything somewhere. If you want to get technical about it. If you want to get technical about it. Quite literally the moneymaker. Yes, exactly. You get it. You get me. Because I don't have access to a lot of my... well, I have access to some socials for VTubing, but I don't have, like, a lot of the other apps that I would need on my phone or anything. So I would just be like, I guess this is how it ends. Might I dare say you're also our baby? You can dare to say it if you'd like. The worst thing a person can mess up is the graphics card and processor, but the processor usually has a slot with an arrow to show alignment and a lever to set it. Way more noob-friendly. You say that, but there's so many ways I could break everything in there. Just everything. I could touch it and the whole thing would just set on fire. And then I'd just be like, no, no, why did I listen? Oni's strength is a curse. Oni's strength, it's not even strength, it's more that I'm just bad at things. Hanaki, welcome in. But no, for real, I will do my best to figure things out on my own. If I really get stuck, I will ask for help, but I don't know, I'm a little guy. I'm a little guy, and I'm scared. But I'll be brave. I guess the other problem too, though, is that I use my PC for like passive entertainment and stuff as well. So like the idea of having to not have access to things because I have to work on the PC is a bit of a bummer. Did I miss something? When have you become strong? I'm not. Trust. Is vids and diagrams aplenty? Okay, I guess. Why clean PC if there are games to play? Why clean PC if there's work to do? Is literally my thought process. But I'll do my best. One of the main reasons I had wanted to switch from laptop to PC is because I wanted to have something that I could more easily like upgrade and stuff instead of having to like buy a new laptop every dang time I wanted to get a new thing. And you know, obviously the joke now is that I am still trying to one of the eventual things I want to get is a pre-built PC, but like, you know, I still wanted to be able to like have the knowledge to like change out parts. And upgrade things. Or like have the means to change it out at the very least. Definitely still never going to build one of my own. But I at least want to be able to work with like the pieces that I'm given and like swap out 1 or 2 parts for upgrading. Should build a PC on stream? No. No IRL content. Pre-builds have actually gotten a lot better. Even if you can likely get a whole build cheaper, nothing beats not having to stress over putting it together. Yeah. I thought pre-builds would have a high markup. They probably will if these fucking economic changes actually come to fruition. Allegedly, there's been a bit of a hold put on them, so it hasn't fully started yet, but that has not stopped other places from getting mad at Onigashima and hiking up prices from their side. So yes, you are right that PCs and PC parts are probably going to start getting more expensive because of the current flow state of the economy. Language? Fuck off. Police my language again, I dare you. PC builders these days usually have cases that are easy to open and usually not bad markup. Yeah, the case I don't think is really going to be the problem. It's the pieces on the inside. They do have a markup, but competition and knowledge on building your own has forced them to lower the markups to be more competitive. I was going to say they've come down in price since custom builds have become more popular, but yeah, those tariffs in the market, that's the thing. It's the individual parts that end up being really expensive. They add up quick. Welcome back. This is the current Yuno Hanaki experience. If she doesn't swear at least once, she's sick. That's not true. I can go through a stream without swearing. That part was one of the easiest rules to adjust to when it came to streaming for kawaii. And then I only would have like a couple that would break out every now and again, but it's honestly quite easy to not swear. Okay, do it? No. And if you're really going to care about my language, I'm going to purposefully say stuff that's even lewder. Then you're really going to have to feel scandalized. Have you gone through a stream without cussing? Several. Can you buy a PC from a neighboring country to avoid the tariffs? Not really. Not really, that would still involve importing. Oh no, whatever will they do? Flips through book for MonsterCon stream quotes. Which one? Obviously, MonsterCon doesn't count because I was reading from a script. We have established back when we still had the one swear word per stream rule that scripts with swear words in them do not count. You swear so little I barely notice it when you do. That's the thing, like, I definitely have been swearing more since leaving kawaii. I can't deny that. But like, I'm not one of those girls that peppers it into everything I say, you know? So that's why whenever I swear and somebody's like, language, I'm just like, grow the fuck up. Just like grow up for once, please. Adults use big words. Adults use bad words also. Pre-builds typically draw from in-stock items unless something is very high in demand. You should be fine on the pre-build shipping. Yeah, no, I agree. I already have a pre-built up on Throne. But like, it's not a big priority right now. The main priority is to finish paying for models. And then once everything's in order with those, I will start working towards other things. Because the models have basically like doubled in price since I initially sent the quote to my model artist forever ago, due to all of the fucking changes in the economy. I love Onigashima. So cool. Anyways. It was so much more affordable before, but now it's like, come on, man. Lovingly. I recall Kaya banning someone for trying to dictate her language. Honestly, she has the right idea. But for Kaya, it was kind of a lot harder for her to adjust to the little to no swearing rule. She did her best, and it was good that, like, it wasn't super enforced in kawaii, because I think if it was, she would have gotten mega bonked more often. She certainly showed how difficult it was. Yeah, that's the thing, though. She tried to adhere to it, but then eventually it got to more of a point where management was just kind of like, do the riskier content, why not? And so they just kind of gave her a bit more of a green light. Swearing 1 month suspension. That would have been crazy. Thank goodness for the laid back management. At least with certain rules. There were other rules that they were much stricter with, but things like the no swearing were mostly for like arbitrary reasons, kind of. So, yeah. It's hilarious they stopped trying to corral her and started enabling. They saw the numbers. In the end, a lot of it's just the numbers game. We go back to the discussion about how they once suggested that Lua, like, show feet for a stream. It's all on numbers. If they see that something does really well numerically, then management will be more willing to allow it to happen. Huh? What do you mean, huh? Well, I think they specifically said, like, show her feet with socks on. And then they also had the idea of, like, kneading the bread dough with the feet. Which, that'd be very weird to do with socks on. I don't want bready socks. But also, I don't want to do it with my bare feet either. Very weird suggestion. The numbers don't lie. Well, I would argue that they might lie in the sense that, I don't know if that sort of content would get the same numbers for us as it would for people where that kind of thing is a little bit more expected. Bare feet? Yes, bare feet. Bare paws. Put your paws in the bread dough. Stop, that's scary. Scared of bears, it's over. Go, go, go. We must help Buno get to 1 million subscribers, then her whole stream becomes a censorship and pure profanity. Are you saying that my celebration for hitting 1 million subscribers would be just one huge fuckfest? Because that idea is very funny. I like how you think that's what I would do. As if that wouldn't instantly ban my channel. Bet. Bet what? What do you mean? Wife fest. My parents saw a family of bears on the road last week. Oh my gosh. I'd love to see a little bear cub. I haven't really seen bears in the wild in like a very long time. My side of Onigashima doesn't have a lot of bears. Million subs, cute girls doing lewd things. Yuno plays the song with all the words you can't say on the radio. I see, I see. I mean, 1 million is so far off. I don't even know if it's even possible within this lifetime. It would be cool, though. But I just don't know if the market's really that big anymore. Considering all of the saturation in terms of variety of talent, I feel like there's not enough people who are fans of VTubers. The pool's already spread so thin. Time to go viral. What could I possibly do that would make me viral? That's the real problem. I just don't really have a personality that suits virality. That's why a lot of my more popular shorts are things with like other people's audio. It's very rarely stuff I did. You hold the key in your hand. Man. I don't think you'd want that attention anyway, you'd explode. I mean, the idea of becoming more popular doesn't scare me that much. Make more 5-head shorts. Oh my god. No, not like this. If Bang with the Dancing Fruits didn't go viral, then I don't think anything can. Well, it depends on how you market it, I guess. I do wonder if making a short out of Bang would be a good move, though. Unfortunately, this seems to be the case, at least given my understanding of what has been viral previously. You know, jingling keys short can make the dream come true. You guys say that, but I really don't think that that would go viral. I think it would probably get, like, a lot of looped views from you, but I don't really think it would spread anywhere else. And even if it did, I don't think that would lead to other people watching it. Never know until you try. Yuno sings Buddy Holly featuring Zoomer Stim Dancing Fruit. That's crazy. Person who has not progressed their understanding of popular culture in 7 years voice, just get a sick frag in Fortnite. That would absolutely go viral. You're so right. Fortnite funnies just don't do it anymore. What a sad world we live in. Just weigh in on the 100 people versus 1 gorilla discourse going on right now. Is that what that's about? I saw someone tweeting about how like their whole TL was taken over by gorillas, but I didn't really understand what they were talking about. Because mine has not been taken over by gorillas. I'm just like, what? What happened? Yeah, lol. I see. People are currently discussing who would win. There's an unrelated discourse several months ago about guys who thought they could fight a gorilla one-on-one. You cannot do that. You would perish. 100 people versus 1 key. Well, it has to be at least 2 keys if you want them to jingle. There has to be multiple keys in order for a jingle to happen. Anyone can fight a gorilla once? Yeah, because you don't survive. Therefore, you would lose to the gorilla. There's only so much, yeah, I could take them before you're asking for trouble. Yeah, I could take them. GG easy. I got this. As I'm just like, are you sure about that? I could take a gorilla on a date if my life depended on it. I love that for you, but also don't do that because depending on the gorilla, Kaya Nishikino will have words for you. Specifically if it's DK. Anyways. Clipping the Kiara toxic slander. No, don't do that to me. Please, it was within the context of the game. It's not how I actually feel about her. Kind of silly question, but which of the kawaii girls do you think you could take in a fight? No powers, just girl versus girl fisticuffs. I feel like Charlotte's kind of the best gimme. Not that I'd want to fight her, but I could. The biggest problem is that I don't want to fight any of them. I'm mostly talking about if it was a situation where I had to. Like, I'm a hella pacifist. I'm not going to want to fight anybody if I can help it. So like Charlotte, I guess. I think you could take Kaya. Yeah, Kaya talks a big game, but I also think I could take her. Size and arm span are like the biggest advantages in a fight, so I think anyone not named Charlotte Suzu clears you. I think I agree. You won't be able to take anyone taller than you? That's not how that shit fucking works, though. Being small actually gives you a lot of advantages depending on how much of a height difference there is. Because the other thing, too, is that girls don't really have that big of an arm span. So even if they are taller than me, they would still have to, like, reach down farther in order to reach me, and that gives me more time to get out of the way. If we're talking, like, wrestling standards. You think you can take she or Mamie on? Maybe Mamie. I feel like she is quite scrappy. My reaction time is okay, but she also has, like, unpredictability on her side. Would you fight a nun or a royal? No. What about Reina? I've met Reina. I don't think I could fight her. I don't think I could. She is 100% pulling hair in a fight. Mm-hmm. Agreed. But I just think this should be quite scrappy. Nami would fuck you up. Yeah, I could see it. But again, my problem is that I'm very passive already, and I'm also a pacifist, so, like, I don't want to fight people. The deer power compensates for noodle arms. Basically, you. At any rate. I'd be pretty low on the overall, like, rungs of, like, a fight bracket. And I don't mind this, because if I had the option to, I wouldn't even be participating in the fights to begin with. The way of the passive fist. Yup, that's the path that I go down. Whichever girls are ticklish, they're going down. What if winner gets a Bustafellows date? It depends what you mean by that. I just needed the stats for my production kawaii power ranking. I'm definitely really making. Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not much of a fighter. So if a situation came up where a fighting tournament had to happen, I would just take myself out. I'd be like, nah. Anything Bustafellows related, Auto gives Budo a massive power spike. Bustafellows mention +5 to all stats. Walk into ring, surrender, leave ring. Mm-hmm. That's me. Give. Alright, bye. Now she will try. Honestly, I don't even know if I'd fight for Bustafellows like that. Like, physically, I don't think I would do that. Who would be the most powerful lore-wise? I feel like we've discussed this a little bit before, but just based on, like, general understanding of, like, everybody else's lore, I think Reina wins purely because she became the Queen of Hell. Everybody else's lore progression, they are still, like, lower ranking than that. I think Reina is purely at the top because she ascended to it. Nobody else has, like, ascended to that level of it. Mimi too, I'd say. No. Mimi's still a student. She's still, like, a magic student. She hasn't become a full-on witch. The magical in her name is a title, and it means, like, magician in training. So, like, she has magic. She would be powerful enough to, like, be able to get through a lot of the fights with her spells, but I don't think she would be the most powerful. You work with Satan herself. Used to. Depends if she can overcome Tenchi. I think Nene has the advantage of time because she is an immortal angel and has also been, like, training more and is, like, a fully fledged angel versus, like, a training angel. At least in some of her forms, because she has Goddess Nene, which I feel like is a similar ascension to Reina, but not a high enough ascension. It would put them kind of close, though. But thus, I think Nene would be able to take out Mimi. Reina is an immortal. Well, she is now that she's ascended to Demon Queen. You guys need to listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying in comparison, Mimi is not immortal. At least I don't think so. Nene is. I wouldn't write off Nami. Clerics are kind of strong. Am I fucking talking about Nami? Guys, listen to me. I am talking about Nene and Mimi. Sorry, what were you saying? I wasn't listening. Yeah, I can tell. We're all forgetting that Nami is the most dangerous party member, a healer who's not afraid to kick your ass. Well, if she has offensive spells, that would make her very powerful, yes. And the other thing, too, is that because she's a healer, she'd be able to heal damage done to herself. So she'd be able to last through a fight longer, as long as she has enough time to heal, especially if she has anything that would allow her to speed cast. Because, like, the downside of a healer, even if she is a harm assist, is that magic spells take time to cast. Dampiers are more powerful than you would think, but not on par with Satan herself. But you have to understand that Charlotte Suzu's lore says that she doesn't drink blood. I don't remember if she said it's because she's allergic or what, but she said that she just refuses to drink blood. Therefore, a lot of her Dampier powers are not active. Unless she gets one shot or has a temp, invul, or revive spell. It depends. In some games, the healers can't self-heal, but I IK if that applies to Nami. Considering she came from, like, a JRPG, and in most JRPGs I've played, the healer can heal themselves, I think she'd be fine. I think she can heal herself. And, like, I don't know what Nami would choose as a melee weapon, but her proficiency with the melee weapon would also be part of the overall equation. She strikes me as a staff basher. I see you. Well, then that would end up not being a very effective melee weapon, because a staff bashing only really works if you get hit in the head. The rest of it's just like you're getting, you know, whacked by something. It would hurt, but it wouldn't, like, kill you. If each talent had an army formed from fan base, then Nene would win. Otherwise, Reina solos everyone. I guess? I do think Nene has a bit of the unfair advantage in the sense that she would be able to summon a bunch of Cloud Tomos to help fight for her. I feel like some of the other fan bases would rather watch their Oshi burn. Lovingly. This is me saying that Nene's fan base loves her. There are some fan bases where it's just like, oh, my Oshi's getting in a fight. I want to see that. Get her ass. Not to name names. As if you can't just summon us as shields. Yes, but I have less of you overall. Can't confirm it would be funny to see Charlotte in a fight. See, this is what I'm saying. She's like, vampires, come help me! And the rest of them are just like, Lamau. They're like, yeah, sure. The chat who engages with the fanfic writer and shipper likes talking lore and spitballing scenarios color me shocked. Yup. I feel like I have a decent grasp of the other girls' lore. Sometimes I wonder if I should get a refresher, but that's why I'm, like, thinking about it. What would Kaya do with Donkogumi? She would eat them like power-ups. So rather than, like, throw you at people, she would just, like, eat you and get, like, a power boost. She does have the advantage of being soul, so we could interfere with people's emotions. We're kind of strong. suppose so. I've never given you an emotional manipulation power. At least not in that kind of sense. Power up Dongo just like Monster Hunter Rise. You know we need a buff. You're just like, please. We need a buff. We need to be strong. You can possess literally any inanimate object, though. That does make you powerful, and that you could just, like, keep jumping between objects. You could get someone to tire themselves out by beating up everything that's available in the room. Because they can't get a hold of you with you jumping around. We can possess keys? Yes. You could literally be a clef key if you want. Going from traditional lore of Japanese spirits, they tend to be able to influence people to a degree, and the more of us there are, the more effect that would have. That's true. I could see it working, kinda. You know I'm going to pass out. The only thing that can save me is if you show me wife. Yeah, I'm sure. You know, you have to save me. You have to show me your thighs. It's the only way I'll live. You have to show me right now. Well, I have to end stream, so I will show you a little bit of wife before I go. Reminder. The collab is at 9 p.m. So an hour later than my usual start time. Don't know how long it's gonna be. I imagine probably no longer than like 2 or 3 hours, so kind of similar to this. But it'll be a collab, so I won't really be focusing on chat as much unless there are points where I am hanging out solo. So, yeah. On this channel, yes, I have a waiting room up. So I will be showing my POV. Is this collab your first time playing Repo? Yes. I've never played this game. I've seen other people play it, so I understand the basics. But this will be my first time playing it actively. And I'm scared because this game is full of things that are one of my number one phobias, which is floating disembodied faces. And half of the enemies in this game are floating heads. Also, a lot of the jump scares are faces that jump out at you. So I will probably pee. I will not be very happy. However, I like women, so luckily I will be surrounded by 3 very beautiful purple women. So there's that, I guess, for me. Having a noob along for the ride makes the game way more fun. We will see. Also, gnomes, Yuno's natural enemies. What do you mean I love gnomes? The gnomes are your enemies. I love gnomes. Have the women protect you. That's the goal. Protect me, women. Please, women. Please, women. Save me. Please, women. Please, save me. Also, if you look at the thumbnail for the waiting room for Repo, it was hand-drawn by Hitomi. Hitomi wanted to draw a thumbnail. They really like Repo, and when they heard that I was gonna do a collab with someone, they were like, oh my god, please. Oh my god, please. And then they drew it for me. They just started drawing it and like pulled up references for the other girls, and I was like, oh my goodness, okay, thank you. So, you know, hand-drawn custom thumbnail. 3 purple ladies forming a phalanx around Yuno while she picks up random treasures off the ground. Me, for real. I'm just like, I do not see anything besides the shinies. But yeah, that will be tonight. I hope you can make it if you are able. If not, that's totally okay. Then we have races tomorrow morning. And we have karaoke in the evening. Yes. And then Wednesday is off. We'll go over the rest of the schedule in tomorrow's streams, I guess. For more reminders. But yeah. We're trying out the 2 stream a day schedule. I hope that you guys enjoy it and like it. Because I gotta work hard. I gotta give myself more opportunities to have streams. Stream this Monday. That's today. This is OniMon, and then later is Repos. There's still 2 streams. Yes. But yeah, okay, I gotta go. I have to figure out what I'm doing for dinner. I still don't know. Frick. I'll figure it out. But yeah, thank you guys so much for choosing to spend time with me. I hope that you have a good rest of your time zone. And until I see you again, Yunotsu!